everyone here. This is the main thing of poetry reading. The title came from, I looked up the root of the word and I can't really pronounce it correctly, and I'm sure somebody could probably figure out how to do that, but the word is something like poesius or something like that from the Greek, which means the main thing. And I really liked that when I found out that was what the root of the word meant, because poetry sometimes gets a bad rep as being this ethereal, flighty, insert your own stigma to it as an art form. But I liked that this was making it sound like a concrete thing, a crafted object. And that's the way I wanted to do the class. I wanted it to be a workshop. Not in a classic kind of writing workshop style where people usually bring in already written pieces and then you go over your drafts and you refine them and get feedback from everybody. We did a little bit of that, but I wanted it to be a workshop more like a woodworking workshop where people actually, there's the buzz of industry and the smell of wood chips and stuff happening. And so one of my favorite memories of teaching this, and they were very patient with me as a beginner teacher, was that I would come in and I would bring a bunch of different types of poems based on different forms or different ways of approaching a poem, such as, you'll hear something like, we did persona poems, which is taking the place of an identity of someone that imagined a real, historical, or current. We would do odes, which are songs of praise to something. So I'd bring examples of poems in which people did those types of things. And then I would say, all right, you have 20 minutes, go. And I'd leave around, I went down the hall and made copies. And I came back in, and it was this room across the hall. Everybody's heads that were over the paper. And then they do that thing, I call it like writer's dowsing. It's like they're doing this and then they like those little birds that used to drink. There's that movement of, they're catching something, they're waiting. It was really beautiful, and I felt the urge to tiptoe when I walked back in the room because something was happening. And that was really, really exciting, not just because I know what that feels like to be in that space, but that they trusted the process and each other by being in the same room, that we created this really safe place to do that, to write in person, live, right then. That's pretty amazing. Then the second thing they did that was even more great and amazing was they shared their drafts. Completely raw, still bloody, ink all over them, squirming, mutilating, making horrible noises. They were fresh. They were just right out of the top of their head. I don't know how many of the people who are here listening tried to do other creative work to understand the immensity of that amount of trust. To do that with a fresh work is pretty damn incredible. So I just have to praise each and every one of the students in the class, because not only did they just put their head down and do the thing, then they shared it with each other. So I was incredibly honored to be a part of that process. And they came up with amazing stuff. I like to think of, the other thing I think about the main thing, one of the images I had when I was thinking about putting the class together was of a box. I like to think of a poem as a box made of words, and each one contains a portion of contents of life filtered through one particular human experience. And the boxes, as we know, can be ornate or plain. They can hold memories. They can hold ashes. They can hold gifts. They can hold promises. There's so many things, and every time the students would do this and approach this, they would give a little glimpse into what life is like filtered with their own experience. So, with that, I'll go ahead and start introducing people to bring up. And yeah, I'm just very proud. I'm probably going to have this brain face by the end of the night. I'm grinning. I'll start by introducing Sheriff Woodruff, OCAF's oh wait, I'm going to do some thank yous too. Quickly, thank you to OCAF for, one, taking me on as an instructor. So thank you, Cindy, and for hosting the refreshments. There's some local refreshments after we. Refreshments got applause as they should. Also, thank you to an anonymous donor for offering some scholarships for some of the students in the main thing. That was a very great thing as well. To everybody in attendance, and especially to the poets themselves. All right, so so first up is Sherry Woodruff. She is going to read a few poems. I apologize for a typo. She's reading Benediction, Grace, and the third title should read Power, period, Struggle, period. Sherry Woodruff. Oh, I'm sorry, it's going to be the Bibles. Sherry Woodruff's dream is to live in a cabin next to a mountain stream, but she's loving her current path through life, even though its daily amble is only through rolling hills. Sherry.
First, I want to say thank you very much to Michelle. This has been a wonderful class, a wonderful experience. And thank you to all of my fellow students. You really did make it a safe place to be able to just let my guard down and open up and share. So, having said that, benediction, weight on my back, too much to bear, but cherished, needed, for the sustenance it provides. Dry socks when the river soaks my boots, water to quench the desert thirst, hearty food shared at day's end, warm cocoon to cozy down in to escape the night's cold wind. Incline before me, too steep to climb, but cherished, needed, for the visions it bestows of golden groves of aspen, slanting morning light, and forever views of canyons, rekindling a spirituality lost long ago. Currents beneath me, too powerful to steer, but cherished, needed, for the wild rush of joy at rapids end, watching hawks float at the top of canyon walls on the lazy, peaceful driftings in between. For the lessons taught about letting go, asking for help, and trusting the journey. The next one is grace. Sometimes I contemplate not sweeping vistas or flaunting theories, but small beauties found in the mundane, the rundown, the painful, and discarding. The ebb and flow of color in the peeling paint and rusty metal of an old lawn chair tossed aside years ago for new and improved hard plastic lounging. The pattern oil makes, leaking from the last leg held together with hope and need family car as it mixes with puddles from last night's rain. The memory of laughter, stirred by a faded photograph of my daughter and I, taken in the calm eye of a storm, somewhere in the midst of turbulent seas. The third one is power, struggle. Interesting that you would use two such words, as if they had any place between us, as if that were a path we should ever travel together. I should have known the sound of crunching shells, echoing down the corridors of the past, the twisting labyrinth of logic my feet knew too well, the flinching of shadows I thought were banished, fighting for my hard-won sovereignty. But I see it now, although it was not a course I chose or wanted. I have no need to control you. I was only seeking balance and a place to feel at home in my own land. Be gone now. The struggle is over. The beast is banished, and my power is my own. As much as you want to twist it into yours and decry the abuse you feel you endured, am I taking it back? Yeah.
All right, the next reader up is going to be Teri Jones. Teri Jones is a non-traditional college student pursuing a degree in art and art education at UNG. And she is a connoisseur of all things non-traditional in life. Please welcome Grady.
Okay, so the first one is inspired by this painting over here called Love You to Death by Amanda McKay. A memento mori captures the right in an icy grip of eggshell enameled jaws, morally obscuring all that was right. The ivory adorning necklace strangles her life until nothing is left, while her bruised skull lurks under matted locks. She sits atop the jagged jaw, waiting to be punctured should she move, while he is dead and waiting to swallow. The strawberry's life is no longer its own, atop fangs of the vampire, isolation and moans. This one is called The Cornfields of Arlington, and it's a persona poem. We are the silent sentinels, guardians of the field, and spacers of the plow. Our ranks are unbroken, and even in death, our steeds go to ground, just like water in a drought. We hear with ears, though mute to respond, sacrificing our own skins. Our legacy is flanked by our kin who resound. We are the silent sentinels, guardians of the field and spacers of the plow. Our sons and daughters, covered in dirt, live on in generations, though not one life is spared. And our voices are carried on whispers from the wind, reminding our people from where they once came. United, we need you to hear from us now, for we remain the silent sentinels, guardians of the field and spacers of the plow.
All right, Bobbi Johnson. Bobbi Johnson, also, I call her Bobita sometimes. Bobbi Johnson, standing at 6 feet tall, this solemn Norwegian beauty, constantly challenges others with her political views and with her hydroponics on organic farming. Please welcome Bobbi Johnson.
I have 3 pieces tonight. The first one is titled, I Wait. My heart is sick, tender with aching, silent words upon my lips, begging, praying, but still I wait. Broken bones mended, slowly returning to a time of before, though bruises still linger. Look, but don't touch. Tender words fall like rain upon deaf ears, anxious and ashamed, but still I wait. With a certainty that is like a dream, present but just outside my grasp, tears fall down that remember well the pain. Scar tissue healing nicely, though their marks remain, but still I wait. Laughter lines greet the day, cricks and pops tell my age, but still I wait. For what? A passion born of joy, not salvation. Do not rescue me, I've already been saved. Do not cling, but hold me tightly, gently, fiercely. See me with awe and wonder. Leap into the abyss. Find me at the throne. Make me yours and seal it with a kiss. For this I wait. Okay, so this next piece is actually 2 things. An image prompt. I was inspired by this picture of a soldier returning home saying her daughter. And it's also a persona poem. It's called I Will Never Let You Go. I hope one day you'll understand that what I fought for was you. But the pain of leaving you, when I can still remember the familiar ache and weight of you, would be matched in the sorrow I could feel in the eyes of the other mothers as they held their dying and dead babies in their arms, their cries of anguish mirrored by my own. At night I yearned to hold you in my arms, to protect you from all the horrors of men. Under starry skies I would shoot down the nightmares and pour out all my I love yous with my pen. I dreamed this day would come, the smell of you, the feel of your hair upon my cheek as I cradled you in my arms. It was the only thing that could put me to sleep. After days and nights of waking dreams, I find this reality fragile, precious, sacred. You are my treasured hope. I will never let you go. And the last piece is called Dear General Public. To every person who spared a hug, shared a smile, or gave an encouraging word. For the keep your head up, or high fives, or a genuine how you doing, for lone eaters and warm meals shared, and the occasional buck that left at home for one less crowded. To the survivors of this journey who held up signs to urge me to keep fighting the good fight. Your wisdom and insight has made it all worth it. Even your stiff drinks and swift kicks had their own special sort of timing. Your kindnesses were not forgotten, your high fives have been shared, smiles have been passed along, and your bucks have long since disappeared. All this is to say, each of you was never a moment wasted. Though my presence in your life may have long escaped your memory, the seconds of my life have been accounted for, and your time in mine meant something to me. Thank you.
All right. Grady Thrasher III, a retired lawyer, award-winning children's book author, be sure to ask him about those, a film executive producer and poet. This guy does more in what he calls enhanced retirement than many people do in their careers. Is married to artist and Athens' loveliest senior beauty, Kathy Prescott. Please welcome Grady Thrasher.
Thank you, Michelle, and I want to thank my classmates for genuine inspiration. This has been a great experience, and my purpose in taking the course was to learn how to write poetry without rhyming. And I got a lot of inspiration. I wasn't completely successful, but my first poem is entitled Panic Poetry. Like a recurring dream while I was in school, it's final exam week, the test upon which everything depends, is this morning. I'm totally unprepared. What's worse, I forgot to attend class or even buy a book. Only today it's not a dream. In less than 2 hours, my poetry class convenes, and I must write a poem or admit failure for lack of trying. With shallow breath, sweaty palms, dry mouth, and tight throat, I cautiously approach the blank page. Suddenly, like the Hubble telescope's enhanced deep field vision of space following its corrective lens adjustment, my brain comes brightly into focus, revealing overlooked insights into human nature. My struggles are over. I feel my heartbeat surging throughout my being, from head to heart to writing arm and pen. I confidently began. Dear teacher, your assignment I really didn't shirk, but my dog, that devious canine, decided on my homework he would dine. And our teacher sent me an email saying it's okay to rhyme. So the last one is a rhyming poem. It's titled Einstein's Worry. Einstein worried, and so do I, about humanity's belief in pie in the sky. With a God that rules the universe while keeping score on each of us to determine by precise calculation one's undying soul's destination, whether a carefree paradise for those who are judged as nice, or a forever fire and brimstone hell for those whose scores don't add up well. What Einstein proved we all should trust. We're merely composed of cosmic dust. Created from chaos and evolution, people are products of Earth's pollution. With neither eternal life nor immortal soul, earthly grace should be our goal. So seize each day and be the most. Make love and joy your Holy Ghost. Celebrate the life that chance has given. Don't be superstition driven. Be kind and honest. Befriend the lonely. Heaven's door says exit only.
She is new to poetry and feels delighted to have been included amongst these remarkable artists award. Please welcome the newly shorn, wonderful Erin Stacer.
Bookshelves. She cleared the little ones, all of them. Oh well, charming as they were, time to move on. She must grow up. Well, I don't think she needed to get rid of the little ones to grow up. Well, admittedly, I will miss your piglet voice and walks through the 100-acre wood. I'll miss the Velveteen Abbey. Yes, they were all good, but just think what awaits to fill you up. On me, she replaces the fountainhead with Lady Chatterley's lover. Have I got to tell you this one? Oh, what's it about? Oh, well, just give me some details. Sex! Oh, how marvelous! I love love stories. All that desire, all the holding, the touching. Easy now. Don't tell me you envy them, for God's sakes. Don't tell me you envy them. Oh, but I do. I can't help it. And why shouldn't I? Well, that is exactly what they think you would do. Go ahead. Give them what they want. Superiority. I don't think they want. Of course they do. They think they are better than everything. Well, what if they are? Think of the experiences they live. As if it is so great to live as they do. We live 100 of their lives a day, and thousands more in our time. But we can't actually live these lives we hold. No, we don't actually live them, but truly, what's the difference? And what of disease and growing old? All things I would rather not experience. But what of sensuality? What if I had limbs to cross this room, to wrap around you? Me? If you had limbs, you would want to hold me? Yes! And what about lips? To press against you? I would kiss you in a heartbeat. Heartbeat. Don't you see? Exactly. I will never feel your heartbeat, and so never watch it stop. A simple equation. The equation is simple. Just plug in the numbers. Fine, I have to tell your parents. All of you know is that you're 13, which equals 4, or 2, or 3. Just plug in the right sign. See, you don't know. I did the equation. Good school, go dogs, times good degree equals right path. One husband plus one daughter plus church every Sunday equals righteous path. 30 years, good job, divided by one lying husband, minus lying husband, plus evening speed walks, minus daughter's tuition, go dogs, equals still on the right path. See, the equation works if you just plug in the right signs. Simple. Simple. But you disrespectful, draw on everything, little girl, you don't even notice. I am a guiding force. I make a difference. I matter. And you don't know. My father's tombstone will read 1919 to 2002, and 2002 equals 4 or 0 or 1. The equation was supposed to be simple. Just plug in the right signs. And you don't know that I matter, and neither did they. The only one who did now is 6 noon later to the ground, and it doesn't add up. So, Mr. and Mrs. Stacer, she will never get into a good school if she does not pass my algebra class. Ode to Coffee Cup. It is not just your external charms that magnetize early morning eyeballs and still winking fingertips to reach for you. It is the content of your concave character. That wicked elixir that pries the eyelids. No, first the nostrils, wide and wanting, awakens desire for the day, and maybe a bagel. You beautiful contradiction, lovingly handcrafted by your creator and gifted to me, deliver me to vice. Amen.
Noel Oliver is an ordinary woman with an extraordinary life who explores questions about God and Southern slang, and you might want to ask her about her other bio. Please welcome Noel Oliver.
I don't think I should have to go after Erin. I think you should have gone last. So I just want to say a quick thank you to Michelle and everybody in this class. I was so terrified because I'd never read my stuff in front of like anybody but like my best friends. And I was like, I can't do it. I guess you can. So one quick note about this poem. Triggering subject. I apologize, but not really. So we were talking about political events in class and writing poems about political events, and there was I wanted to write a poem about Ferguson. Everybody I'm sure knows about what's going on in Ferguson or what happened, and this is what came out of that. So it's called For Emmett. I imagine your mother, flour-caked pink apron, cracked kitchen tile floor, always barefoot, salt and sugar crystals shining against the black backdrop of her hands, the smell of yeast rising, dancing in her magic palms. It always reminded you were home. Her strong hands kneading the dough piled high on the counter, the gentle rhythm of push and pull and push and pull. And I bet she was humming that song she'd always sing with her grandma on Sunday nights. I bet it haunted her the rest of her life after that day. How she was just standing there one minute, all solid flesh and bone and human, and thinking about the day you left, when she said, "Now mind your manners, Emmett. Now don't get into trouble, Emmett. Eat your vegetables, say please and thank you." And how she didn't know you could go from being something to nothing so fast. As fast as lightning strikes or heart breaks, as fast as blind eyes don't hear muffled screams, don't find bodies for days. See, she forgot to say, don't die. Don't die, Emmett. Don't talk to no white women, Emmett. Don't forget that more nameless niggers get buried in this country than white women have shelves for cookbooks, than white men have room to hate. Down in the South, it's a crop they're especially proud of growing, the way they cultivate all that rage. And you better watch out whose field you step in, because little black boys like you ain't nothing but fertilizer, ain't nothing but pine tree decorations round here. I imagine the daisy petal patterned roll breaking as loud as your skull did the day they both hit the ground. With her low moan wild wail of a grief without a name, the day yours was printed into history. Never ripped from her mind like your eye was brutally ripped from the socket. Could she see it coming when she sent you into a world of cards already stacked against your skin, like she can't see anything else now but your face? Drowning in the kitchen sink again, her hands grasping for you, reaching for you, trying to touch you just before you slink below the murky water. She keeps trying to get to you, but I bet it's then that she remembered you died down in the Delta days ago. That house just echoing your name, your laughter on repeat down the hall. She still wakes up at night hearing your screams in the dark, as quiet as lynchmen breathe. And how you were always afraid of the dark, and she rocked you gently, singing all the gospel songs she knew. We shall overcome, she whispered. You didn't ever come. Come home, Emmett. But you couldn't beat back the monsters underneath your bed or the ones out in the barn on the night they beat you so bloody. She wasn't even sure it was you in the casket. She wonders if you cried out for her. Did the crickets sing you a lullaby as they were laughing your lower body all the way to the bottom beneath the trees that hold the last wishes of dead men? Your body a bloated codfish or could be's, a warning sign for all the faces that look like yours. Did they ask you if you were a good boy, an honest boy? You were just a boy, whose worth was found wanting before they even knew you were named, burnt crust to be scraped off the bottom like tar from a boot. Were you scared? Tied to that chair, wanted your mama and cracked tile floor and yeast resin there. I bet she can't even sit in the chair anymore without thinking of your broken neck, bedtime barbed wire noose, that sweet salted caramel face she used to cradle, freshly bathed in baby powder perfection. The world so big, her love not enough to save you from it. Your mother and me. Your absence searing hot like summertime. I hear their laughter. I hear your name. Some unholy war drum beating out the blood, still staining my hands. Pale-palmed gods, I imagine with faces like my father, chanting our sins back to us. Emmett, Emmett, Emmett. Or Mike Brown, Sean Bell, or Oscar Grant, mixed with the chorus of 1,000 other slaughtered sons of this mother country. Mother country. Mother. Country. A place you should call home. Come home too. But you never got to come home. And dinner was almost ready.
All right. Tina Aquino, by way of introduction quote. Words that do not evoke thought or emotion are just letters waiting to become words, hoping to evoke a little thought. Please welcome Tina.
I didn't want to go after Noel, because I already tearing up on her point before I typed My first poem I'm going to read is called It's About the Choice. They do not choose to be born to parents unable to be parents. They do not choose to be ignored, beaten, or thrown away. They do not choose to be touched by adults in ways that only other adults should be touched. They do not choose to witness their mother sell her body to buy the drugs she craves. They do not choose for their father to turn away from them even before they were born. They do not choose the judge who ordered them to leave their family, taking nothing with them. They do not choose the strangers that take them in the middle of the night. They do not choose to be the new kid in school over and over again. They do not choose to lose their brothers and sisters because they can't be placed together. They do not choose the new people that are supposed to call brother, sister, mom, and dad. They do not choose to be angry, to act out, to be rebellious. They just are. They do not choose to grieve for all the losses in their lives by no fault of their own. So I choose. I choose them to listen to when they cry themselves to sleep night after night. I choose them to love when they're unable to love me back. I choose them to stay when all they want to do is push me away. I choose them to be honest, telling them the truth always, so they can learn to trust. I choose them just as they are,
knowing that it's my job, not theirs, to be the grown-up. I choose them to be my own, to be my heart, my pain, my joy, so they can choose. So they can choose to heal, they can choose to love, and they can choose their own future. My next one, my last one, is called Useless Spleen. On the body parts of my family, I am a spleen, a name given to me by my brother, the ass. Representing a useless organ you can live without. Spleen working silently, doing her part, void of need of any attention. Silent, unseen, cowering beneath the body's skin until spleen had enough. Inflamed, infected, diseased, pressured by all the other body parts. If spleen were to burst, she could destroy the body. Removing spleen might save the body, but it would leave a scar deep and dark, reminding the body that spleen was powerful and once a part of them, not so useless now.
And I'm loving it. Okay, finally, our last read of the evening is Mr. Teri McCrackin, the Renaissance man of the group, who was, among the other things on his bio, he was also our resident fact checker. If we ever needed to, he was like Google master, look up something quickly, so he could clarify a point or define something, he would be just right there. So Teri McCrackin is an artist, a stylist, a writer, a jack of all trades, master of none, and now introducing his poet persona, Mr. Erin Stacer.
The name of my piece is Dear Valued Client. Dear Valued Client, I'd like to thank you for your continued years of loyalty, for your Saturday standing appointment. It is with sad and heavy heart that I am informing you that I will no longer be working on Saturdays. As the years have passed, the shadows have grown longer. I remember in the early days of my edition, I would meticulously twist and pile sun-kissed locks upon your crown of youth. How I watched you grow from toddler to prom queen, from baseball mitts to tiara. I've given you new haircuts and color with all your forever endless loves, and did it all again. When your heart was broken for the next, and the next, and the next. When you lost your virgin hair, I manipulated your tangled fur, pelts, and tresses, watched you walk down the aisle and veer away. I shook my can and teased you. I gave you a good bang. How you always strolled into the beauty shop, arriving late, like a fresh summer breeze, looking like a mop in your espadrilles and capris. All twisted and ratted, you've done nothing but wake up, get up, roll out of bed. The queen of ragamuffins, looking like a wildebeest, rutted in your head. Translation, you're 20 minutes late for a haircut. How about a baby trim and a cup of coffee? Your hair was unruly, always dry like a hay bell. I would use hell broth boiled in bubble to tame your mane and tail. Telling you constantly that 3 layers is a big dip, not a haircut. Pleading with me to go from brown to blonde, the color you had when you were 21, to keep it simple and not too prissy. My reply was, I've just got a comb, not a magic wand, but when in doubt, blow it out. Now the time has come for your final appointment, but it's not with me. No backing out, no cancellations, no rescheduling this one at the last minute. All your loved ones will say when they look upon your lasting beauty, "Doesn't she look good? They did a good job on her. She looks just like herself." I will have teased and beat up your hair, making it bigger and higher and a beacon to those around you as you walk through those pearly gates and truly closer to God. Knowing that you arrived on time, St. Peter will now check you in for your final appointment. Sincerely, your stylist.
That was wonderful. That was so great. And I'm so proud of y'all. You did an excellent job. I didn't want to say this before the reading because I didn't want to make anybody who might be nervous already nervous. A handful of these folks have never read the poetry in front of people before, so this was kind of a big deal for them. So I'm very, very, very